Well, good morning, my friends, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here plinking away with this little Glenfield Marlin Model 60. And the reason I brought this out here this morning is because it directly pertains to the subject matter at hand. Just the other evening I was out roaming around looking at some of the guns that were offered by local pawn shops in the area. And I'm always on the lookout for a very specific model or edition or whatever of any old firearm, especially old 22s, and I think I found a Marlin Model 60 that I've been looking for some time now. And what I found was, I think it's either 1984 or 1985, and that's the one that a lot of people are on the lookout for because it has the full-length barrel that's with the full-length magazine still, with the modern last shot bolt hold open as I've incorporated in this little rifle here. You've seen this gun before in many videos. So anyway, I'll be taking a look at that little rifle again, and if I acquire it, then the next time you'll see me is out here on the range shooting it. So wish me luck. Maybe that little gun will meet my criteria and I'll bring it home. So I'll see you then. Well folks, as you can obviously tell, I went ahead and got this little Marlin Model 60, and according to the serial number here, the first two numbers are 15, so if you subtract 15 from 100 you get 85, and that gives you the year of manufacture, which is 1985. Now I looked the little gun over and it's in fair condition, I would say. It's got a little bit of wear on the finish here and also on the receiver. I can straighten all that out pretty easily, and I almost didn't get this gun because there was one thing that I saw that I really didn't like, and that was the fact that somebody drilled these holes here in the stock. And you know, this one here is off center and this one is not even necessary, because for sling swivels you can get a attachable swivel that goes on the magazine tube right here. You don't have to drill holes in the wood. So, you know, take that as a piece of advice. If you don't have to drill holes in the stock of your gun and you don't know how to do it, if you can't keep it centered or you don't know exactly where to put it, then don't do it. Don't start taking drill bits and drilling holes into the stock of your gun, because you're gonna ruin it, okay? And I mean, it's just like in my line of work. I see it all the time. I'm an alignment mechanic, and I see people do or attempt to do repairs on their vehicles, and really they're better off if they had just left it alone, because they didn't know what they were doing. I had to go back in and redo everything, you know, and it's just going to cost them more. So take that little piece of advice. Unless you know how to do it professionally, then don't touch it. So anyway, I got to looking at the gun, and I thought, well, if I can get it for under $200, then maybe I'll go ahead and jump on it. And I did. I got it for well under $200. And then when I saw the JM stamp on the side of the barrel here, I thought, well, that's the mark that I've been looking for. And this particular model is one of the ones that still had the full-length barrel and the full-length magazine tube, where in the later part of the 1980s there was a law that was passed by New Jersey limiting the capacity of any firearm to have more than 15 rounds. So Marlin complied, and they shortened the magazine tubes where they would only hold 14. So anyway, I saw this and I thought, you know, I'll go ahead and get this one here because it's the most desirable of all the Marlin models in terms of the modern advances that they've designed into these guns, and yet still retain the full-length barrel and the full-length magazine. And what I'm talking about as far as advancements are the last shot bolt hold open, and this one here in particular has a bolt or a screw that has been put into the stock right here. And from what I've read and what I've researched, some of these Marlins in this weaker part of the stock right here would crack and break sometimes, so they put this reinforcement screw in there to kind of help hold things together. And this one here did not have the Marlin logo on the butt plate here, but that would have been nice to see. But I can live with it the way it is. I can dress this up, and I can fill these holes, by the way, and get that cleaned up where the gun is more presentable. But anyway, as you could see from just a moment ago, the gun shot fairly well. You know, I was shooting some of these CCI Blazers just to check the functionality of this gun. So let's go ahead and load up a few rounds, and we'll see how well the little gun can group. I've got a target down there at about 35 yards or so, and we'll see whether or not this gun can hit that orange spot from here. I'll go ahead and just load up 5 rounds for now. I really have no idea where this gun's hitting. I'm pretty close, I think, judging from the target I just shot at. Now, one thing I need to point out, if you decide to get an older Marlin, which they're all older right now because they're out of production, but this particular model has 2 bolt lockback settings. One is at the very rear, and then one is right there. You have to hit this release to close it all the way. Now, the gun is not loaded, okay? What you have to do is pull back on the charging handle, release it, make sure the safety is on. Now the gun is loaded and ready to be fired. So let me go ahead and take a few shots and see where this old girl is hitting. Okay, well, it shot well, cycled, and the bolt did stay locked open. Let me go grab that target and we'll see where it's hitting. Well, guys, I'm shooting a little bit low, but it's pretty well centered up. There you can see 5 rounds. I'm going to go ahead and put that target back up, adjust the sights, and try it again. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the Marlin Model 60 design, the proper way to load these, I've gone over this before, but if you haven't seen the video, then let me go over it now. You have the last shot bolt hold open, but on some of the older models, you don't have that. The bolt would be shut, so you have no idea if the gun is loaded or not. Put the gun on safe, pull the bolt all the way back, and push in on the charging handle. I'll do that again. Pull it all the way back, push in, and that'll lock the bolt open. Now you can visually inspect the breech and the chamber to make sure that it's safe. There are no cartridges present, so we can go ahead and safely load this gun. And all you have to do is turn this little turret knob right here to unlock it, and then pull the brass magazine tube out. We'll go ahead and load up 5 more. You just drop them in into the slot right here. You want to hold the muzzle of the gun up, and you can hear them slide down. One more here, and then you go ahead and slide the tube down and lock it in place. just by turning that knob. Now, what you want to do is go ahead and close the bolt. Make sure the safety is on. If it's the newer style, the newer design, you'll have to hit the bolt release just like that. Now when you pull it open, you can just let it go. Now the gun's loaded. So let's take a few more shots and see if I got the gun hitting about where it needs to be with open sights. I'll go ahead and zoom in on this target. That way you can see the impact of the bullets. Let's see if we can get a few of them in that orange dot down there. All right. Well, it looks like she's shooting just a little bit to the left, but really to get a good idea of how accurate this little gun is, the best thing to do would be to install a good scope on here and then check it to see how well it can group at hunting ranges such as 30, 40, 50, even 60 yards with good ammunition. But overall, you know, the little gun seems to be shooting pretty well, and everything looks like it's in good condition. The muzzle crown is in good shape. I checked the barrel before I bought the gun. You know, I made sure that there was no rust present or any pitting or anything like that. The action was not binding up at all. It seemed to be working freely the way it should. The safety was working right. Trigger was good. You know, other than somebody not knowing what they were doing when they drilled these holes, the gun seemed to be in fair condition, you know, fairly good condition. So I'll go ahead and get the gun cleaned up, and then I'll probably present it in another video in the future. But just to kind of give you the guidelines, you know, if you're looking for a Marlin Model 60 or any 22. I know a lot of you guys watch my channel and you see a gun that I've presented, and next thing you know, you got to go out and try to find you one, you know. And believe me, I understand. I love these old 22s. I love all old guns especially. But you know, when you're buying a used gun, a lot of times you can't return it after you put your money down. So it's up to you to have that discriminate eye and to look at everything, make sure that it meets your criteria, you know, because once you walk out of the store with it, it's pretty much yours, and you know, you're stuck with it. A new gun, you don't really have to worry about that. You can always take it back, you know, as long as you have your receipt, and you can either get another one or it can be sent back to the factory for repairs if need be. But with these older guns, that's usually not the case. So that's what this video was about, you know, to go out. It's kind of like a part 2 of the previous video that I put out where I bought an old Marlin Model 80 bolt action, and I had some issues with it that I had to take care of myself because I couldn't send it back, you know. And that turned out to be a really good shooting gun. I mean, very, very accurate. And I expect this one here will do very well. But just real quickly, just to kind of go over it, check the muzzle crown, you know, make sure also, first of all, before you check anything, make sure the gun's not loaded, of course, you know. But check the muzzle crown. Make sure that the magazine tube is in good condition, that it's not bent, it's not binding up, and that it's not stuck inside the magazine tube housing. I've seen that before, folks, where it's so gummed up you can't hardly get it out. Make sure that the gun doesn't have any excessive rust on it. That's one of the #1 enemies of older guns, is rust. You know, if they're rusty, then pass on it. Make sure that the stock doesn't have any cracks in it. These holes right here, like I said, I can fix that where I can dress it up well enough that it'll be more presentable. But if there are cracks in the stock, or if it's broken somewhere, I've seen stocks breaking right here. I've seen them split down the middle here. You know, unless you're a craftsman or a good gunsmith and you think you can fix it, but you know, if you can't do it, then pass on that gun. Go look for another one before you put down your hard-earned money. But the number one thing you want to look for is the condition of the barrel, because quite often that's going to determine how well the rifle's going to shoot and how accurate it is. But other than that, there may be some things that I've missed, maybe missing parts, for example, missing screws, missing sights. I've seen all kinds of things with these old guns, and I've passed on a lot of them, and usually my patience paid off, But that was the point of this video. I saw this old gun the other day, and I decided to make a video about purchasing an older gun like this Marlin Model 60. As far as I know, they are not in production now. Whether or not they will be, I know I've mentioned it before in the past, that's up in the air right now. That's up to Ruger. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. But there are still millions of these old guns out there. Unless you find one that meets your criteria, pass on it, have a little patience, and wait on the next one. Because sooner or later you'll find one that'll suit you. Let's take a few more shots with it real quick, and then I'll go ahead and close out the video. While I'm loading here, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Like I said, this one here will hold 17 rounds in the magazine. I'm going to go ahead and load up 10. You can put 17 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, which gives you an 18 round capacity on these older full-length barrel, full-length magazine tubes. But I'm going to shoot at those 50-yard targets down there, my steel targets, and see if I can connect with at least a few of them. Okay guys, I know this little rifle's hitting a little bit to the left, so I'm going to hold to the right just a tad. See if I can't connect with a couple of them. Alright, I see a squirrel up there on top. It's on the left. Let's give him a try. Okay, I see that bunny rabbit there. I think I hit it. It sounded like a hit. Let's try that squirrel there to the right. Alright, let's try that bunny rabbit again. Man, it sure sounds like I'm hitting that. I can't tell because it's not moving. Alright, I see a swinging target on the left there. Let's try him out. And that was the last shot. So friends, that's not too bad for a rifle that I'm not that familiar with, for a newly acquired used 22. I had it in my mind that I was going to try and get it, and I wanted to take another look at it like I mentioned, and before I decided to get it. So anyway, ultimately I went ahead and did make the purchase. And if you watch my channel, you know that I absolutely love older guns, older hunting equipment especially. Doesn't matter what it is. But my real passion is old 22s. And this is definitely an older 22. This one here, like I said, dates back to 1985. And, it's amazing thinking back how much happens in just a few years. I remember in 1985, that's when I started dating my wife. If that tells you anything. So, just looking at the gun, I know that it's been around, but it's been reasonably well taken care of. And that's what you want to look for. Whenever I feature an old model, there's a lot of folks out there that are probably finding some favor in that particular gun, and they start looking around for that model or that make of gun and they can't find it. But one thing I can tell you for sure that's been my experience, if there's something I'm looking for and I can't find it right away, I practice patience, because sooner or later I'll run across one, you know. And that's what I've got here. So take that as a bit of advice, if you would. You know, if you're a 22 enthusiast especially, and there's a particular model or make that you're looking for, a special edition maybe or something, then, you know, you need to enjoy the hunt for that particular gun. You know, that's part of the joy in doing it. You know, it may take you a week, it may take you a month, it may take you a year or longer. You know, just recently I acquired a Remington Model 582 that I've been looking for, that had to be of a specific make. You know, I wanted one with a mahogany stock, and I ran across one that's in pristine condition. I couldn't have found a better one, and I got it for a terrific price. So practice patience like I have, and sooner or later you'll run across the one that you want. So with that being said, let me go ahead and close out the video and wish you well. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, no matter what your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And until next time, also remember this: hit that like button, smash that bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until then, y'all take good care of yourselves, and God bless. I'll be seeing you.